Thank you. Okay. Hi. I was having lunch with somebody who asked me to ask a question for her. She wanted to know if you could explain why bad things happen to children.
When something unwanted happens, you're calling it a bad thing. The assumption is that it is punishment. The bad thing that happened isn't punishment that's being exacted by some greater power. It is this person who is receiving the punishment or the bad things not allowing the good thing to be there instead. So it's a vibrational resistance that is keeping them from living the well-being that they want and deserve. So now the next question is, how would a child get into a place of vibrational resistance? They weren't born with it. How did they get there so fast? And we say, in some cases they are born with it, in the sense that they picked up the vibration of a worried parent even before they were born. The misassumption is because they can't talk, they're not thinking. And that's not true. You don't need language to think. The best thinkers on your planet are the beasts, and they don't talk at all. They don't formulate their experience of life into words or into sentences. They be it. Then the next question is, so does that mean that anyone, a child, could learn a vibration of resistance so early in life that they begin blocking the stream of well-being? And we say, of course, that resistance is passed on from generation to generation. Look at the hatred in the homes that so many children are being born into. Look at the family squabbles and the abuse that some children are even born into. As you follow the paths of serial killers, and we don't recommend it, but if you could get to know their history, and if you could hear from them what their life was like, they would tell you about all of the abuse that they experienced and how many people were pushing against them. No one ever behaves badly who is in alignment with source. So it's just a chain of pain where I'm not in alignment with source, which means I feel totally disempowered. So I'm seeking revenge because it makes me feel better than the disempowerment that I feel. So I offer something negative to you, and now you feel powerless, and on it goes, you see. Yes. So then the next obvious question, we can feel it all over the room, is, well, that's a screwy environment that we would say we were willing to be born into. If we are pure positive energy in the non-physical, why would we for a moment say that we are willing to subject ourselves to an environment where we could possibly encounter this influence of disconnection to the point that we would then attract something negative into our experience? And we say, from your broader non-physical perspective, you didn't see any of it as risky because you knew you were being born with a guidance system. And most of all, most of you, and especially those, there are a lot of teachers in this room who had very shaky, uncomfortable beginnings. And the reason you did is because you wanted to hit the ground running. You wanted your own contrasting life experience because you wanted to feel your vibrational escrow full of wonderful things. And as you listen to so many teachers, you discover that even though they had rocky beginnings, their desire was so strong, and when they found vibrational alignment with source, then the wonderful things that begin to unfold in their life are so much more than they could have been if they hadn't had the rocky beginnings, because the rocky beginnings are what put the vibrational escrow stuff there, you see.
Yes.
Now, do not misunderstand. We're not for a minute saying that we recommend hard life so that you can firm up your vibrational escrow. That was not the point at all. But some of you come forth so invincible, so knowing, so ready to teach, so wanting to teach, that you are not picky about the environment into which you are born. You were not wanting to be born into a feathered nest. You're wanting to be born into an environment of diversity where you could gather a lot of information fast and come to your own conclusions fast, you see. And the only thing that goes wrong, it's not wrong, but makes it seem like it's temporarily wrong, is that you get into that environment and the rockets of desires are born, but instead of turning your undivided attention to what you want, you keep justifying why you want it by pushing against what's gone wrong. And there are so many parts of your civilization that encourage that. In other words, so many people are happier for you to be a victim and to encourage you to continue to be a victim, and they'll join forces with you in pushing against the victimizer, and none of that turns you downstream ever, you see, ever. There are no victims. There are just recipients of vibrational offerings. Does that mean everybody offers vibrationally what they mean to? Of course not. You aren't even offering vibrationally what you want to. Every time you watch CNN or spend some time reading a newspaper and get fixated on something that's going wrong in the world, you're not in vibrational alignment with what you want. But reading those newspapers and watching those world events is certainly what's putting the stuff in vibrational escrow. The question is, how soon are you lining up with it? And a lot of those children that people are worried about are in a much better place than the people who are worrying about them. And there are so many people around the world who are using what's going wrong with each other as their reason to beat the drum of powerlessness, that there is an epidemic about it afoot, you see. Oh, when you come into vibrational alignment with the knowledge that all is well and that it is just a thought away, to come into alignment with it, and when you start demonstrating, as you and our friend before, so many of you are deliberately putting law of attraction to test. You're saying, okay, I hear that it's out there. This is a thought that I'm thinking, and it's a pure thought. It's not a thought I've worried about for a long time. It's a thought that I'm putting out there. When you see how fast law of attraction responds to your pure thought, doesn't it make you want to clear up some of the others? Doesn't it make you want to come into alignment with your own worthiness and with your own abundance and with your own physical body and with the other people that are in your life that you love and that you want to love you? Don't you want to come into alignment with those things? And you do it by choosing thoughts that feel good when you think them. So now back around to your question. Abraham, how is it that a little child could be born in this world and have less than good feeling thoughts? That's really what you were asking. Because without that, they could not be having a negative experience. And we say they are like almost everybody else. They are a byproduct of their environment, and they offer almost 100% of the time vibrational response to what they are observing. So if they have the good fortune of being born into a happy home, they observe it mostly, and they get off to a more positive start. If they have the what you would call bad fortune of being born into a negative home, they observe it more, and they get off on that foot. But whether they are off on the foot of feeling good or off on the foot of feeling bad, in every moment they have this vibrational relevance between where they are and who they really are. And that call of source never stops calling. So we think you like the drama of it as humans. We do. Very often you want to know what you don't want so that you really know what you do want. And it doesn't make any difference whether you go a long time before you turn and go with the stream. It's more dramatic. I was without it. And then I figured it out, and oh boy, is life good. As opposed to, I want it, I got it, 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 I want it. And your public seems to enjoy you more if you suffer first.
Thank you very much.